Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 commencement at Vermont Technical College. First, I want to congratulate our 2021 Vermont Technical College graduates, and thank you for being here today. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce the platform party that is here with us today, and we'll start with Dr. Anna Guyette, who is our academic dean. Also, Dr. Kelly Campbell, who is our Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Officer for the Vermont State Colleges. We welcome Jason Enzer, who is our Dean of Students. We're pleased to have Rosemary Distel with us, who is our Associate Dean of Academic Affairs. We're also very pleased to welcome Dr. Sarah Billings-Berg, who is our Associate Dean of Nursing. Dr. Lisa Fox, who is our Site Director in the Northwest part of Vermont. Dr. Carolyn Stannard-Carlo, who is our Site Director in the Southwest portion of Vermont. We're also pleased to have Phyllis Mitchell joining us from the Northeast Kingdom as our Site Director. And last but definitely not least, Susan Fredette, who is a past president and current treasurer of the Alumni Association for Vermont Tech. And once again, welcome to everyone. And I have been the president of Vermont Technical College for almost 5 years now, long enough to see classes of students start and finish their career at Vermont Tech. I'm always profoundly proud at this very moment, knowing that each of you chose our college, let us help you on your path, and to see you launch into the next phase of your life is an honor. I'm especially proud of your class because of the extra tasks and burdens each of you have had to bear to get to today. Each and every one of us has been dealing with our own stresses in life, compounded by a pandemic. You truly are an historic class from Vermont Tech. You not only met the rigor of the Vermont Tech degree program, you studied remotely, followed health and safety guidance to access lab and clinical work, and connected with peers and faculty virtually to get yourself through. If there was a way to give each of you an extra degree in resilience, we would, because you have earned it. I hope you are as proud of yourselves as I and my colleagues are of you, seeing you reach this achievement. You will have stories to tell your grandchildren that you graduated from college during a pandemic. Very few prior generations can brag about that. There were some sunny spots during this COVID year. We're so grateful to our healthcare partners who have enabled our health occupation students to remain at clinical. We're very happy our faculty really stepped up and got better at remote delivery. Faculty have seen how we can provide remote delivery to enable more students to access our valuable programs. We learned a lot about virus transmission, healthy habits that will stay with us a long time, and you have learned those extra habits in clinical. We've learned about resiliency, patience, hopefully tolerance, and a lot more about personal responsibility. Not because we wanted to, but because we had to. So how do you take that personal responsibility to the next level? How can we nurture it and make it even more? And what does personal responsibility really even mean? Researching this idea, I found that folks typically define it as meaning, quote, you are willing to accept and live by society's established standards of individual behavior, end quote. When these expected societal standards are not met, someone with personal responsibility doesn't seek others to blame. Rather, they are able to maturely respond to the challenges themselves and take the blame for their actions. Or simply put, your life is full of choices, and what you do with them governs your whole reality. Personal responsibility is in part seeing that your decisions have direct impact on your life and life events. It's recognizing that no matter where you are in your life, you're able to see that you can create both good and bad circumstances. Connie Stemmel, a writer and social activist, writes in the Habits of a Better Life, One Habit at a Time, about 8 key ingredients for personal responsibility that resonated with me that I wanted to share with you. The first key ingredient to be personally responsible is communication. You have to be able to communicate effectively. You need to communicate if you're encountering unclear expectations at your work or in your interpersonal lives. You have to communicate so you don't make assumptions. You need the feedback so you can learn from mistakes or successes. Also, when you communicate about your mistakes, people are less likely to get angry and are typically more willing to work with you to solve a problem. One way to ask questions is, how can I make it better the next time? What do I need to know to do it better? The second key ingredient is you need to create boundaries. Do not overcommit yourself to a task or project. Carefully consider your workload before agreeing to another task or role. If you take on too much, it's too easy to drop the ball on something and let someone or yourself down. It's hard to take personal responsibility when you're overburdened. You'll probably find yourself burnt out. If you can just say, just not right now, or I'd be happy to, but I need to finish something else up first, it shows you've accepted the personal responsibility of setting boundaries to make your life more manageable. A third key ingredient, humility. The ability to step away from your pride to admit when you have made a mistake or that you're not the best person to take something on. To be humble, you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses and have the self-control to take on only what you can handle. To know when to say no, despite your eagerness to prove yourself, is important. Instead of blaming other people or external factors, people with humility take responsibility for themselves by advocating for their own needs and owning their weaknesses. A fourth important component of personal responsibility is the ability to control impulses. People make poor decisions in the moment, at the time, to appease their impulses, even though those decisions may have obvious negative impacts. If you write an email or a letter in anger, park it and go back the next day when you're less agitated and rewrite with personal responsibility in mind. Accepting that your faulty behavior is in your control takes courage and is essential to the pursuit of personal responsibility. Which leads me to number 5, courage. And courage is a big one. It's scary to accept your failures. It's hard to truly apologize for a mistake and mean it. If you can build the courage you need to accept your failures, you will be demonstrating personal responsibility. Much of our inability to accept mistakes is fear-driven. To build courage, you need to identify what you're afraid of. Engaging with your fear and exploring possible causes will help build courage. It's hard to speak up when someone's being wronged. It's hard to admit you do not understand and need more clarity, but it is rewarding to get that clarity and to move forward. And remember, recognize that failures are temporary and courage is permanent. That helps. The 6th trait is persistence. Regardless of the struggles, moving forward toward personal responsibility is important. Pushing through, persisting despite the roadblocks. I think you all have a master class in persistence this past year. Yet you knew your goals and the task you needed to do to complete them. Your persistence can serve you well in the future, so keep tapping into that resource. 7th, be your authentic self. When you have personal responsibility, you don't react to things around you, you act. You are self-directed, self-disciplined, and you know right from wrong. To be responsible to yourself means you will do what is expected of you, even when no one is around to know it or see it. It is intimidating to take risks and stand up for things you believe are right. Doing so helps assure to you that you are not standing by the sidelines when it comes to your own life. Being your authentic self means making no excuses. Be honest with yourself and others about your wants and needs and not being afraid of that, because you are being true to yourself when you're doing that. Finally, number 8, be organized. With a sense of personal responsibility, you keep your life organized by whatever means works best for you. In that same vein, if you have personal responsibility, you don't put things off until the last minute because you know that will not result in your best work. It also requires doing the hardest thing first before you keep going on your to-do list, which is a great time management tool as well. Remaining tasks are easier that way because the hardest and the worst is behind you. So I've spent a lot of time of your commencement sharing how of personal responsibility, outlining the key components in the form of a final lesson from your president. Let me share the why. I believe we need more personal responsibility in this world. Looking around this last year at the lessons from the pandemic, personal responsibility has stood out to me as a key public health measure. I wear my mask to keep those around me safe as well as myself. Families visit virtually to avoid transmitting viruses to grandparents. Nurses, doctors, and respiratory therapists and radiologists leave their scrubs in the garage to avoid bringing transmission into their homes. These examples are just a few ways that we, as people, have taken personal responsibility for our own health and that of others. And when practiced, it has worked. It has suppressed the spread. I have to look no further than Vermont Tech's own case tracking statistics to see how our community has taken the Knights Pledge seriously and kept our communities safe. With the proverbial light at the end of the pandemic tunnel, life will undoubtedly hand us all opportunities to flex our personal responsibility muscles. You may take leadership roles at work where demonstrating personal responsibility will guide your team to greater success and collaboration. You will have conflict in your life because we all do at some point, and your courage and humility will help resolve it to the betterment of everyone involved. You may take on another challenge as great as the one you have just achieved by getting your degree, and your persistence and personal responsibility to your own goals will help you stretch and reach higher. Your community may strive for greater equity to right the wrongs of racism, where you having personal responsibility for your own bias will break through the barriers and let change occur. I fully recognize there are people for whom taking personal responsibility is tough. Circumstances they were born in may make it much harder. Circumstances beyond your control can make it tough. But we can make choices on how we will address these circumstances. And that is what personal responsibility is about. You move forward despite the odds, and most often, you reap the reward. I hope for all of you, you can continue to build on your quest for personal responsibility. You have taken a huge first step by attending Vermont Tech to obtain the education and abilities you will need to be successful in your career and your life. You demonstrated you have personal responsibility by getting to this graduation. Success in college can and will lead to success in your career if you continue to seek personal responsibility. A successful career enables you to pursue the things you want in life. It can give you choices. You get to make the choices to grow, flourish, and succeed in your career and your life. You get to make the communities you want to be part of better communities, more respectful and attentive to everyone's needs in addition to your own. You will go forth and demonstrate what taking personal responsibility can do for you and those around you. I know you will do that and do it well. Go forth, Vermont Tech Knights, and change the world for the better. I wish you continued success and personal responsibility. Don't forget where you got your start. While the Vermont Technical College will evolve, our spirit, our resolve, our success will not change nor fail. Remember Vermont Tech as you change the world. Stay in touch so we too know your future. Good luck and God bless. And now it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Sarah Billings-Berg, Associate Dean of Nursing for Vermont Tech.
Good morning, Vermont Technical College Practical Nursing Program graduates, friends and families of graduates, faculty and staff, VTC senior leadership and platform party, clinical partners, and other nursing workforce stakeholders. First, I want to say congratulations to all practical nursing graduates. You all deserve a loud and lengthy round of applause. You've accomplished something that hasn't been done before. You've just completed the Vermont Tech Practical Nursing Program in a pandemic, with the overwhelming majority of classroom learning delivered remotely, and very few options for being in the classroom with your peers and your faculty. Yes, you were able to maintain practice in a clinical setting, but your theoretical foundation did not take place in a brick and mortar classroom, a telepresence room, or face-to-face. It was on your kitchen counter. It was on your couch. It was at your dining room table. It was alongside your children's virtual learning, their virtual gym class, your partner's virtual staff meetings, your parents' virtual doctor's appointments. This learning environment is unprecedented, and you have been successful. You all should be extremely proud of yourselves and your classmates. I always like to do a little reflecting at this time of the year and give friends and family a better sense of what has been accomplished in the past 10 months. Collectively, you have attended over 84,000 hours of class, over 100,000 hours of lab and clinical. You've cared for over 15,000 patients, given over 40,000 medications, and performed nearly 8,000 treatments and procedures. You are already a key member of Vermont's nursing workforce by nature of being a student who is eager to learn, who seeks out opportunities, and provides quality care within the student scope. In addition to all of these things, you have adapted. You are now used to daily temperature entries and attestation questions in Castle Branch. You are used to wearing a surgical mask and goggles or a face shield at all times in the clinical setting. Sitting and standing 6 feet away from someone else seems natural at this point. And while all of those things add up to good practice and following protocol, there's a part of me that fears some not yet recognized side effects of the pandemic. No, not related to a vaccine or an abundant use of hand sanitizer, but related to how our nurses and our healthcare workers trained in these times feel about personal space. How you feel about communicating with facial expressions and your ability to read nonverbal cues. How you consider the importance of touch and how integral proximity and closeness is to the therapeutic patient care we provide. I fear that nursing students and graduates of today will be limited, even if it is imperceptible, in their ability to comfort a patient who's dying and their family, place a hand on the shoulder of a patient in pain, or give a hug to congratulate a brand new mother. Whatever your next step is, whether it's continuing on to the ADN program, joining the PN workforce full-time, or both, please remember that you are nurses. Nurses with the duty to show compassion, demonstrate ethical treatment, and comfort those who need care. Recognize when somebody is in pain and what they look like. Intervene before there are signs of distress. Don't be afraid to reach out and hold your patient's hand. Providing comfort with touch is at the core of nursing practice. I leave you with a few quotes to reflect your practice on. First, Florence Nightingale said, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." Don't let excuses be your guide. Talk to your patients and their families. Get that last set of vital signs before you leave, and always say goodbye to your patients at the end of your shift. The second quote, also from Florence Nightingale, "Let us never consider ourselves finished, nurses. We must be learning all of our lives." So while you may be thinking you're done with school, you're a nurse now, and there's no such thing as done. Congratulations to everyone, and best of luck to you all.
It is now my distinct pleasure to welcome to the podium Susan Fredette, Vermont Tech Alumni Association Executive Board Member, past President and current Treasurer.
I am pleased to welcome you, the soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2021, to the Vermont Tech Alumni Association. I encourage you to call on your fellow alumni as you pursue your career goals. We look forward to you being an active member of the Alumni Association.
And now, the Nurses Pledge. Before those assembled here, we solemnly pledge to adhere to the code of ethics of the nursing profession, to cooperate loyally and to the best of our abilities with the other members of the healthcare team. We will not do anything evil or malicious, and we will not knowingly give any harmful drug or assist in malpractice. We will not reveal any confidential information that may come to our knowledge in the course of our work. And we pledge ourselves to do all in our power to raise the standards and the prestige of practical nursing. May our lives be devoted to service and to the high ideals of the nursing profession.
Congratulations, and you may now move your tassels.